Hi, y'all. Happy Friday. Welcome back to Get Naked with Mary. Y'all know I'm a one take girl, and this is like the fourth or fifth time I've tried to record this. The dog started barking in one. The neighbor started up his motorcycle right outside the window, and I don't know. There's just been some weird stuff going on. So, uh, yeah, wish me luck. But anyway, because of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial that's going on, which is focusing on domestic violence. I believe they're both accusing the other of domestic violence. Um, but anyway, because of that, I have been involved in a couple different conversations about domestic abuse and why people stay, and all of the usual questions. And so I thought I would talk a little bit about that today because in most cases, like my own, it's not like you meet somebody and that night, you go home with them and they start beating the crap out of you, and you stay and take it. That's not really it's not really how it happens. It happens a little bit at a time. They chip away at your self-esteem. They chip away at your sense of self, your confidence. Um, Basically everything that makes you you. Uh, at least, that's how it was for me. And then all of a sudden, I woke up one day and I didn't know who I was. I didn't know. I felt like a shell. And like I was walking on eggshells. And part of this, I believe, was, because of the religion that I was in. And, looking back, it had to do with, my childhood and all of that. But truthfully, that's not really where I'm going today. But again, I've had several conversations about, well, how does a person get in that position? So I thought I would talk a little bit about my own experience. Um, we were already married, and I had one child and was pregnant with the second. And we were actually arguing about the days of the week. And it doesn't matter what we were arguing about. It doesn't matter that I'm sassy. It doesn't matter that I'm opinionated and loud, and none of that matters, because there's never an acceptable reason or excuse for someone to be abused. Period. But throughout that experience, I had, several people tell me, well, you should just learn to control your mouth. Well, you should be a better wife. Well, you should be more respectful. You should be more insert here, whatever platitude they decided that, I needed to follow. But yeah, so we were arguing about the days of the week, and I really thought he was kidding, because he kept saying that Monday was the first day of the week, and I was like, yeah, the first day of the work week. And I guess I made some smart ass comment or laughed one too many times or whatever, and he punched me. Keep in mind that, and not that this even matters, so I'm not even, I was going to say that, I was pregnant and he outweighed me by, a lot. But again, that really, the pregnant part matters, but size doesn't. But anyway, we were arguing about the days of the week, and I I thought he was kidding. I thought we were kidding. Like, I didn't, looking back on it, it's like, that's not even something that was serious, like cheating or, you're drinking or money or, anything like that. Which just goes to show that that somebody who's going to hit you really doesn't need a reason, which is why I brought that up. But anyway, so we're arguing about this, and I'm laughing because, again, I thought it was hilarious and wasn't really taking the situation seriously. And he, I guess breached his limit, and he hauled off and punched the crap out of me in my thigh. And like, it took me down. Like, he was strong, and it hurt, and I, kind of flopped down on the floor, and, humiliated and furious and confused and just shocked. I mean, I had no idea. Like, he hit me, like, I just couldn't believe it. And, looking back, there, of course, were red flags, not just from him, but, in my childhood and things like that, that I guess taught me to ignore the previous red flags and all of that. But yeah, so he hit me, and I was like, this, we're not doing this. You've got to get out. And so he left for a little while, and I remember holding my daughter and just sobbing. I was terrified. What were we going to do? I was very pregnant, embarrassed, because, I am mouthy, and I am opinionated, and, the woman who was there while I was raising myself was constantly, telling me all the time about, your mouth is going to get you in trouble. And I'm just sitting there thinking, was that what happened? Like, was this my fault? What? I don't understand. And he was gone for, a little bit, not too long, but he came back in the house, and of course, brought some small trinket with him, and was sobbing and apologetic and saying all of the right things, and, profusely apologizing up one side and down the other, and just, telling me, oh, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I did that. I've never done that before. Work has been stressful. You're pregnant. You're not working. I'm tired. All the usual crap. All the usual excuses for why, someone doesn't want to take responsibility for what they did. Not to mention lies, because he had done it before, not to me, but, he had, it was a pattern. And I just hadn't seen it. And, for a couple days, he was on his best behavior, and again, apologizing, and I'm so sorry, and I love you so much, and, doing whatever he could to get back into my good graces. And then as soon as he felt comfortable, as soon as he felt like he was there, his behavior started slipping. And then before long, he hit me again. And then again, and then again, and then again, and then it became, much more frequently. It got to the point where I wasn't sure which man was going to come through the door. And of course, when he was drinking, it was worse. And so I, started tiptoeing around him and trying to figure out what to do. And this was, like I said, it happened gradually. Like it's, just little by little, just chipping away at me, chipping away at my confidence, chipping away at my self-assuredness, my ability to think clearly. And this is where the religion comes in, because I actually went to one of the elders and talked to them, and they're like, well, you should probably be a better wife. Not even kidding. But that literally is a whole different subject. But I went to people that I thought would look at the situation clearly and help me, because it was this me. Did I need to do something differently? What is going on here? And like I said, it just chipped away little by little, and until I was basically a shell of myself, and my days were spent tiptoeing, and just he wasn't mean to the kids at this point, or to my child at this point. And which, thank God. But I just it just happened so gradually that it was like one day I was myself, and then I woke up and I had no idea where she was. I had no idea where that part of me went, the strong, mouthy person, the fun loving person who laughed. And I just didn't know what to do. And during all of this, my dad was actually going through chemo, and it was, there was a lot of other factors that went into this. But again, the most important part was, he had no right to hit me. It didn't matter what was going on. It didn't matter if I was cheating on him or spending all of his, it does not matter. But the fact remains that little by little I disappeared. And then here I was in this situation now with 2 kids and no job, a sick father, 1 car. What was I going to do? Who was I going to tell? And then we had kind of a little party one night, because he seemed to be, when people were around, he seemed to be on his best behavior. And we had a party, and the person who actually introduced us, which I'd known for years and years, was one of the ones at the party. And my ex-husband had just been like going hard all day, like just pounding the beer and the shots, and which I tried to limit in the house, but I wasn't working. He had the car, he had most of the money, which again also happened little by little, which is something they do, because they want to isolate you. But my friend happened to be there last, and there were a couple times during the day that my ex-husband had made little comments here or there, and I think my friend had seen the look on my face when those comments were made. And I want to be clear that yes, while I basically disappeared, and he chipped away at me little by little, I still had fight in me, and I would still argue back sometimes, but it not usually. Usually I would just kind of be quiet and take it, just to try and when I say take it, I mean take the argument, take whatever he was saying, so as not to get into a physical altercation. And so in this party, my friend looks at him and says, I think you've had enough to drink, which set him off. And my friend, like I said, introduced us, and so they knew each other and had worked together, and my friend felt comfortable enough to tell my ex-husband, that dude, you're at your point, like, you need to stop. And so then they got into an argument, and the plan was my friend was going to stay that night on the couch because, like I said, they'd been drinking and everything. And so I stepped in. I was like, let's just go to bed. The kids are asleep. Let's just go to bed. And so we go in the room, and I have no idea what happened, but he went off and started, hitting me repeatedly, because up until this point it had been, punch here, smack there, kick there, pinch here, slap, whatever. But this was a repeated thing. And Mike, our mutual friend, heard what was going on and came in and actually pulled him off of me. And then there was more drama after that. Like, he took the car keys and tried to escape. And anyway, the cops were called. The neighbors called the cops, and the cops showed up. And I really thought that they were going to take him to jail, because Mike had blood on him too, from where my ex-husband had, like, scratched him somehow. Or maybe I scratched him when he was, I don't know. But anyway, he had blood dripping down his arm. And I, of course, was, red and bruised and swollen. And so the cops show up, and they take him outside, and we're inside. And the cops, because there were multiple, actually look at me and tell me that it was my fault. That I should have regulated the alcohol in the house, that we shouldn't have had a party, and all of this. And I just completely deflated. Like, I knew what they were saying to me was wrong. I knew what they were saying to me was complete and utter bullshit. But at that time, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel worth anything. I felt like, okay, this is, I am mouthy. I am opinionated. I am strong. I was strong. And yeah, they're right. We shouldn't have had the party. I shouldn't, have picked up the beer when I was getting the hamburgers and hot dogs. And it just, I was so defeated. I just had no air. Oh, well, that's cute, isn't it? I guess it's commercial time. But it just, I kind of just woke up and found myself in that place, in that terrible, dark place. And I would like to tell you that, my friend Mike and I talked about it after that, and I woke up and I left, but that's not exactly what happened. But the point to all of this was